Now, a heart-pounding rescue of a Texas mom who suffered a seizure while behind the wheel and plunged into a body of water. Newly released police body cam video shows officers and Good Samaritans jumping into action. Eva Pilgrim is back with that story. Good morning again, Eva.
Good morning again, Robin. That mother of two, lucky to be alive. She is recovering in the hospital, doing much better this morning, thanks to the quick thinking of her son and the kindness of strangers.
She's having a seizure. She's sunk. She's in the water.
Oh, come on.
This morning, the heart-pounding moment. A 12-year-old boy desperately flags down a police officer. His mother trapped in her car underwater just off a Texas highway.
I'll bring you over there.
Help her. Hurry.
This newly released body camera video showing West Orange officer Charles Cobb running to help after 39-year-old Jonquetta Winbush had a seizure, driving her vehicle with her two children inside, 16-year-old Breasia and 12-year-old Dwight, into a pond.
My nephew was able to swim out of the car to my niece, who then told him to go call for help.
The officer running to his cruiser to grab a window punch to break into the car.
Here, I got a punch.
As other Good Samaritans jump in to help.
I realized that it was happening at that very moment. I pulled over and I jumped in the water.
Epifanio Munguia saying the men were able to break the back window. But then the car began to sink.
And then as soon as we were opening the door, the front door, I heard I got her. And I felt like I won the lottery.
Get her up here.
The men pulling Winbush out of the water. She was unconscious, had no pulse, and was not breathing. Watch as Officer Cobb begins several frantic minutes of CPR.
I remember grabbing her hand and I could feel the pulse in her wrist. I really don't know how to describe it to you other than just life started coming back into her.
After more than 3 weeks on a ventilator, Winbush's sister telling ABC News she is now breathing on her own and getting stronger day by day. Her family grateful for the quick-thinking rescuers.
My sister and my niece and nephew, they all needed you. Y'all stepped in. Y'all didn't hesitate.
Winbush still has a long road to recovery. That Good Samaritan staying in touch with this family, even visiting her in the hospital. He, the other Good Samaritans, the officers who helped save her life, they were all just honored with an award by the city recognizing their heroic actions. And I was telling you guys, if it wasn't for the whole group, they wouldn't have been able to get her out. Wow.
So
the CHP officer.
That's kind of interesting that she ended that on that if they didn't have all the people there at that time, then they wouldn't have saved her. But it's also, I would say that this is such a miracle. This is such a miracle because of the fact that many people that have near drownings or a drowning event, that they get brain damage. They say that her pulse, that she had no pulse, her heart was not beating, she was not breathing, and they started CPR, and that she regained a pulse and she started to I guess breathe again in some capacity. And the miracle in that is that most people get brain damage from that event, and the deprivation of oxygen to the brain for the amount of time, however long it was. I guess she was either did not have oxygen deprivation for long enough for that to occur, or it was miraculous, that it was kind of unexplained. Just if you want to say God or something like that, I mean, she should have brain damage. And even at the end, the lady said she has a long ways to recovery. She spent 3 weeks on a ventilator. That's really bad. Being on a ventilator is extremely bad. You have permanent injuries from being on a ventilator. So the fact that she's a different article had said that she's going to make a full recovery, and the doctors expect her to make a full recovery. And I'm blown away from the fact that they can pull her out, no pulse, no breathing, and put her on life support, and then her be able to come back and make a full recovery, hopefully a full recovery, as full as she can. The doctor said she'd make a full recovery, so that is a huge miracle. It's bizarre. So I just wanted to end on one anecdote that I ended last episode on patient advocacy and like medical advocacy and advocacy for yourself, doctor advocacy, like advocating to your doctor for yourself. And that it's important because you never know when you're going to have to go through something, or your family could go through something, or you just never know. Well, I was going to one of my classes, which next week is the last week of my 6-week classes, so I'll have more time for the podcast. I was doing the 6-week classes and massive amounts of overtime at work. Just been absolutely swamped. It's been crazy the last couple weeks, but so the classes will end next week, so that'll be good. But I was going to class, and I talked to one of the classmates there, and she was telling me how her son had gotten sick, and they took him to the hospital, and they wanted to discharge him. And she said that that's not acceptable, that her doctor sent them here because he's sick, and that they're going to be medically negligent for not admitting him and taking care of him if they try to discharge him from the hospital, while they're saying that there's something wrong. And there was something wrong. Like he was sick. He was not feeling good. And I don't know what else measurements they had, but I think they had some measurements to prove that that something was off. And that's why they got sent there, was because they had a measurement. They got lab work back that showed something was wrong, and they went to the hospital. Well, the hospital disagreed with the assessment of the measurement, and she had to advocate for her son. And he starts to decline further, and they're running all these tests, and they can't figure out what it is. Well, eventually they just have to do, maybe they realize what's going on, or they're doing exploratory surgery, or I can't remember what it was. I think that they got a lead somehow, some way, that showed that he was having a gallbladder issue, or some sort of, I think his liver, they started to get liver enzymes that showed them that his liver was having to work really hard. So they know that something's going on, so they go in there, they begin the operation, and they open her son up and find out that his gallbladder has necrosis. It has completely like it's dying. It's turning like black, and the tissue is dying. So he's getting sepsis and all of this stuff, or he was about to get sepsis, and they took him out. They took out the gallbladder, and now he's making a full recovery and bouncing back really quickly. But the doctors tried to tell her that her son was fine and to discharge him, and she insisted, no, absolutely not. He needs to be here at the hospital. And that's I'll say a third case of, if they didn't have the doctors right then when he started to decline really rapidly, because I guess he was beginning a blood infection, would be my guess, the beginnings of a blood infection, and that the gallbladder was necrotic. They opened it up, saw that, and I asked her, like, what did the doctors say when they saw that it was necrotic? And she said they had never seen that before, is what they had said. So it's a miracle that he was in the right place at the right time, where they had the right tools and assets to do the work on him. And she saved his life. So, yeah, it's just another example of the fact that people need to take patient accountability seriously. So I thought that was an interesting anecdote. And she told me, more people need to know about patient advocacy. And it made me think of that episode that I had said. So it's an interesting note. And the very last video here, the last episode as well, I talked about covering up open wounds, cuts, scrapes, piercings, tattoos, anything like that you probably shouldn't go into the water, but you need to cover it up at the very least, and that they have like products to do that. At least try to protect yourself. But I talked about how the hurricane's going to go up the coast, and that after the hurricane, a lot of bad bacteria gets spread around in the water. Well, I think it was 24 hours or maybe 48 hours after I said that, unfortunately, there was another loss to the Vibrio infection on the East Coast as that storm was going up.
Rhode Island Department of Health warning about the possibility of swimming in an ocean and picking up an infection if you have an open wound, tattoo, or even piercings.
Health officials say they wanted to send out this reminder after a Rhode Islander died from a Vibrio infection this month. Joe Cortez is live with the details this morning. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Kristen and Patrick. The Rhode Island Department of Health says that Vibrio lives in both the sea salt water and the brackish water, which is a combination of both salt and fresh water. And they say that the highest concentrations of Vibrio comes when the highest concentrations come in between the months of May and October. Now, people with certain conditions, with liver diseases, cancer, or otherwise immunocompromised, they're being warned to take extra precautions. Officials recommend that if you have an open wound, to cover it completely with a waterproof bandage and wash it out with clean water. Symptoms usually begin about 1 to 3 days after exposure, and most people recover without treatment in about 3 days. The CDC says every year, 80,000 cases of vibriosis in the United States, and of those, 52,000 cases are the results of eating contaminated food.
So Vibrio is not new to our waters. However, what we do know is that Vibrio infections, although they're rare, we know that they have become more common in the past few years. Beaches are safe. It is very safe to swim, but there's a few things to be aware of.
So yeah, it's like she said, like it's that you need to be aware of it, and if you have open wounds, you need to try to protect yourself. I mean, cover it up or take some time off to let it heal before you go into the ocean. So with that, I want to thank everybody for sticking it out to the end. I put a little bit of a longer one this week so that we could catch up. So this is later on in the week that I'm dropping it. And I have something that I'm going to try to put out this week. So I'll just leave it at that. Also, we have a lot of biology stuff to talk about, and I have a lot of that stuff saved. So be looking forward to more stuff, especially as I get more time. And thanks for hanging in there the last couple of weeks where I've only been able to drop like 2 episodes. So yeah, there's going to be some more coming up. So appreciate it, guys, and be safe out there. And thank you for everybody that has messaged me any sort of information or anything on the UFO flare-ups in Cali. Thank you so much for messaging me about that. And for all the people on the Patreon, thank you. People that have emailed me, thank you so much. And yeah, just thank you to everybody. Be safe out there. Adios.
Back against the wall of my strength. Yeah. I can't let it break. Everything I've been through, it made me better. Ooh, I love the hate, it just made me better. Been through everything, it just made me better. I can't waste the pain, it just made me better. Working every day, it just made me better. 1, 2, check, 1, 2. I'm going in, is that an L? W is still a win. Got it off the muscle. All I know is hustle. All I know is making something out of nothing. What you think they see it? I had to hop in the kitchen. I'm really on fire. You know, ignited. Yeah. I know some people don't like it. I'm moving with flavor. They probably a bite it. Yeah. Trendsetter, being better. I can't take the credit. Yeah, wait. Yeah. Been on fire, boy. That's flambe. Only time you see my head down is when I'm praying. When my back is turned on, only time they wanna see it. Water on me, floor is cold as ice. I'm finna trade, yeah, and serve it to the people. They need hope, it's no delay. Yeah. The odds against me, back against the wall of my strength. Yeah, I can't let it break. Everything I've been through, it made me better. Ooh, I love the hate, it just made me better. Been through everything, it just made me better. I can't waste the pain, it just made me better. Working every day, it just made me better. Hold up, what they finna say? Tell it to your mammy, it don't matter, I ain't listening anyway. They just mad to see decide to drop, they look like ocean spray. You can get it too if you just work more than you talk today. This what happen when you take your pain and make it motivation. It ain't gonna be easy trying to be a legend, it's the payment. You need execution, not excuses, dog, you gotta face it. They don't want the truth, but if you quit, you don't deserve to make it. What you think they giving greatness out? Now you gotta take it. They don't know the hustle, they confused when they look at you. Till you hit your goals, they all shot, they think you Pikachu. Put your mind to it, you can do it, yeah, and I'm the proof. Unless the odds against me, back against the wall of my strength.